Hi everyone and welcome to Marufa TV. I am Natumi and I'm back with another review. This review is of the feature documentary film Softie, directed by Soko. This film premiered at the Sundance Film Festival and it won the prize for best editing. The film later on had general release in Kenya and it became available around October. It became available on the BBC iPlayer, and for all the UK mandem, go on, it's still there. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a warning as I am talking about the film. I might have some spoilers here and there, but once again, they're not going to be that heavy. Additionally, I am going to be talking about the subject of the film, who is Boniface Mwangi. So if you're a stan and you're someone who feels some type of way that he should not be spoken about, this is your time to just exit. Exit with your feelings. Boniface Mwangi is a photojournalist. He covered the 2007 and the 2008 post-election violence that happened in Kenya. He then went on and became an activist, and in 2017 he vied for MP for Starehe. So let's get into the film, the good, the bad, and what my overall feelings about the documentary feature are. Let me start off with the good, what I enjoyed about the film. I like the fact that we got an insight to what goes into planning a demonstration. We got a little bit of a glimpse of that at the beginning. He's at his home, he's got a few other people and they're mixing up some paint to be able to go and, you know, get pigs for a demonstration that they're doing. So it's quite interesting to be able to see the work that goes into that even before them going and doing a demonstration. It's the same thing with the campaign. We get to see a big chunk of what goes into planning a campaign, them going on the streets, talking to people, and that was really insightful. It was really insightful to be able to see that. It was nice as well seeing him engage with people, what people were telling him, and his team as well. We do have a shining star in this film, and that's Khadija Mohammed. His campaign manager was hilarious. She was so funny. One of the major things about Boniface is the fact that he wants to run a clean campaign. Because of that, he's fundraising money, and him raising money, there's certain things that he's not going to be able to do as his opponent Jaguar. There's a point that Khadija comes in and she's like, I'm tired of seeing Jaguar's ugly face all over the town, and she was just hilarious. She had so many standout moments, and I really did enjoy as well the talking heads that we had with her, which were not really strong within the film, but with her it was really nice because we got the motivation of why she was there, why she wanted to work for Boniface, what it meant to her, and we got a little bit more of a understanding and a background of everything that was going on. So that was really nice and that was really enjoyable. Overall, with the documentary, we got a nice insight of what it is to be a family with an outspoken public figure. His wife as well and kids come across really well and really likable, and that has to be a testament to a degree of the type of person and the type of character that Boniface Mwangi is. The downside of the film, one thing that I really struggled with was the fact that we didn't really get a premise for multiple clips that were used and the voiceovers that were used. Predominantly, most of them came from Jeff Koinange, who's known, he's a news presenter, news anchor in Kenya, previously for CNN. We need to give you your flowers, my brother. Most of them felt like they were plucked from different areas. So some of them, I wasn't too sure if they were post, 2007, 2008, or they were 2017, around that election time, or maybe they were just general news of what's going on. Granted, that is the freedom that you have when it comes to editing and creating a documentary, and I think that that's one of the reasons why the editing was appealing to the jury prize, but I really did struggle with that. You have a duty of care for the audience that's familiar, and you do have a duty of care for the audience that's unfamiliar with the material that you're presenting. So talking heads would have been a fix for me on something like that, putting some dates out there just for me to be able to get a little bit of an understanding of this is going on at this time. This is where things are changing and things are developing, because there was a sense in that. There's a point of the documentary that obviously things are going on, threats are coming towards the family. Another downside is the fact that not everything seemed to be from the same time frame. So the fact that at the beginning of the film we had so much about the demonstration and the activism, then we went heavily into politics, and then by the end it tried to then circle back and come back into activism and protesting and those elements, and I was like, okay, granted, that's your life, that's what's happening, and the documentary is following that, but a balance between the two would have been something that would have worked out a little bit better with this, because it seems like things were just really plucked from different areas to kind of create the whole finished product by the end of it. Another downside for me with this feature documentary is I never really got a sense of what Boniface Mwangi wants. Considering that he's ready to risk his life, considering that he's really ready to put himself, his family in jeopardy, I really never got an understanding, a full understanding of this is your motivation, this is what you want to achieve from this is where you're going to go with this, we're going to march right next to you and behind you with this. I feel that is one of the things that I maybe really wanted going into watching this film. Boniface is someone, it's a name that we've heard over the years, it's someone that we've come to know, but then at the end of it, I still didn't fully really understand that this is your motivation, this is what you want to be able to get out of everything that you're doing. So in a sense, it came off like a marketing tool for him, a documentary that looks good on the surface but really doesn't have any depth beyond that. With this film, I introduced another segment, and that is a segment that I dubbed the side eye. There were plenty of moments that I was just left like baffled within the film, just didn't really understand once again the motivation, some of the choices that they made, and once again I really just want to stress the fact that they are the subject of the film. We are looking at what they're doing and why the characters, why they're making those decisions for themselves and their family. At a certain point of the film, of the documentary, Njeri and the kids go into exile to the USA. They stay there for 8 months. Already I was a little bit baffled with that, because if Boniface is at risk, his family's at risk of being in Kenya, of being killed, wouldn't all of them just decide to move? But they stay for 8 months, and when it's nearly time for the elections, they go back. So once again, that's a part that I didn't quite understand. Did the risk change? Is it that they now have security and they feel that they can be able to be okay living in Kenya and nothing will happen to them? I mean, you've uprooted your kids, you've taken them to a different country, a foreign country, they have to assimilate, they have to get used to that, and then you pull them out again. I really just didn't understand the point of that. Personally, I did not. And as someone who was moved as a young kid, if my mother did that to me, I'll be like, excuse me, can you just make up your mind on what you're doing? Can you just, can we get on a page or something? Can we be singing from the same hymn book? Songs of praise. Please, let me understand, because I just didn't get it. I really didn't get it. I was just like, I don't understand. You're saying you are at risk. You're saying your life has been threatened. You've had letters that are sent to you of the fact that you're going to get killed. You're showing us in the documentary several other people who have been killed, and then you go into exile only to come back days before the election. I really just want it to make sense. I just want it to make sense. There's a point as well when they were in exile and one of the little boys, his little kid, wrote a whole Father's Day card to his mother. I was just like, damn, what's going on? What is this thing? Mostly because the documentary didn't make me understand the motivation for Boniface and why he feels that he's the right person to be able to do this. And ultimately, you're the one who's coming up at a loss because your kids don't really have a connection to you at this point. And there's quite a few things that you have to go back and mend. And your wife is alone looking after the kids. I didn't get it. I really didn't get it. So another side-eye moment that I had was this whole idea of profiting over pain. So later on in the documentary feature, Boniface is selling his book, and the book features images of the post-election violence. And I really just have a issue with that. I have a problem with the fact of people profiting over pain. These are images of people who lost their lives, images of people who just really suffered within that time. So for you then to take that on, albeit you're the photographer, you're the owner of those images, you taking that on and selling that on, it's really just baffling to me, really baffling. Another point that Boniface made was him saying that he's not afraid of death, and him also saying that he's always wanted to cover war. That was chilling for me. When I heard him say that, I was really confused by that comment. I didn't know what to make out of that comment. Is it that then you got some kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't even want to say it because it's really hard for me to put those things together. Like someone said that I've always wanted to cover war. What does that mean? And I'm well aware that in this world we have people who tragedy and loss is their profit. So I just really, I found it hard to be able to sit on those comments and to deal with that. On top of that, him saying that he's not afraid of death, I just really don't understand. What are you dying for? And you've got your kids, you've got your wife. What will you be? If my husband ever tried something like that, of I'm not afraid of my friend in this life, I've waited for a husband, I've got kids, now you want to die on me. Please, you tafufuka. It can never be me. It can't happen. I just didn't understand where that was going. Overall, I believe that the documentary gave us a soft glimpse into who Boniface Mwangi is and what was happening in his life at the time that this documentary was filmed. What I was left with though was the big question of what his motivation is. What is his vision? What is it that we are marching for? What is it that we're shaking up the tables for? Where are we going? We have a system at the moment that is flawed than nothing else. But also, if you're offering an alternative, what does that alternative look like? On one level, it appears that Boniface Mwangi has found his one thing to fight for and he's going full steam ahead towards that goal. The thing that, for me, I wanted to be able to really understand with this documentary is what that thing is. His motivation and the clarity of that motivation. Once again, with many of the politicians, we know that their motivation is to get into places of power in order to be able to take advantage and do that. And I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve that right to be able to do that. If that's what you want to do, you want to be a politician, you want to go ahead and steal the money, other people have been doing it. There's a culture of people taking it as their time to eat. The difference with Boniface Mwangi is he's put himself constantly on a global stage, and in him doing so, are you doing this for your own benefit or are you doing this for the benefit of the people? That question, that debate is still out there. Overall, the documentary was an interesting documentary to be able to watch. I would recommend other people to watch it, mostly more so as we continue to discuss the spaces, our political spaces and what is happening. I do believe that this is an important documentary for people to be able to watch in order to continue having these needed conversations around politics, activism, and additionally when it comes to photojournalism and profiting over pain. There's so many levels to this. The documentary is also part of the long list of the best documentary at the 93rd Oscar Awards that are coming up in 2021. All the best to the team and everybody else who was involved in the making of this documentary. If you've had the opportunity to watch the documentary, let me know what you think, if you agree or disagree with some of the points that I've put forward, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.